Hello, my friends. This is Lynda Lippin, and welcome to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Hello, my friends. It is your host, Lynda Lippin, and welcome back one more time to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Today, let's dive a little bit into what makes a comprehensive Pilates certification program and why, even if you don't think that you're going to be teaching all of the system or all the apparatus, why I think it is your best move as a Pilates instructor to do a comprehensive training as opposed to more piecemeal trainings. And there are pluses and minuses, of course, to everything. But in terms of your ability to teach anywhere you would like to moving forward in your career, having a comprehensive training is going to give you the most number of opportunities. So let me start out by saying that back in the day, so let's go back, 36 years ago to when I started teaching Pilates. I was in graduate school. I was getting a doctorate in philosophy. I had a teaching assistantship. I had done quite a bit of Pilates as an undergraduate at SUNY Purchase. I've talked about this in other episodes about kind of my background and how I started. I really loved Pilates. And there was an ad in the city paper in Philly for an exercise instructor, part-time Pilates background preferred. When I applied, I was actually the only person who applied who knew Pilates, who had done more than mat, who knew the equipment, who recognized the names of the equipment, and just that. And I was hired. And in doing that, in simply kind of throwing myself into the game, I was then able to be mentored by a fabulous teacher, Karen Carlson, and really kind of worked my way up teaching and apprenticing and training. And then when the Institute for the Pilates Method was founded, I did my comprehensive exam with them and got my certification. I've also done the comprehensive teacher training program at Real Pilates and was a lead, trainer for them for a while. So I've done both contemporary and classical, but again, full system. As far as I can remember, Pilates mat as a standalone training started in the 90s. And the reason why it started was because lots and lots of gyms decided that they needed to offer Pilates. They realized that a lot of their personal trainers didn't know Pilates. People wanted accredited continuing education in Pilates. And so I know the Institute for the Pilates Method started a mat training that then became the prerequisite for the full comprehensive program. So no matter what you wanted to do kind of moving forward with them at that time, that's now the Physical Mind Institute, you started with the mat training. But if you were just, if you were a personal trainer or you were already teaching athletic classes in a gym, and you were certified by ACE or, ACSM or any of the other groups, you could actually just come, do the training, get your continuing education credits and your certificate, and at least go out and teach mat with some understanding of Pilates fundamentals, of the basics, of the exercises, of the name of the exercise, the order of the exercises, and why. And that was the beginning of kind of separating things out. At that point, there weren't really a lot of group reformer classes or anything like that. Balanced Body had just come out with the Allegro Reformer, so we were just starting to see equipment that was a little bit lighter, that could be stacked, that could be moved more easily for classes. But it was still fully certified Pilates teachers who were going in and teaching those classes. And then with the advent of Club Pilates, with the advent of more fitness-based work, then you started seeing more reformer only training, and then people just started breaking up the training. So then, now Balanced Body does have a full training, but you can actually take all the training separately. You can do the same thing with Stott. So, realistically, unless you specifically look for a comprehensive training, most of what you're going to see out there is separate stuff. Now, online, I'm also seeing a lot of folks who are asking questions and are saying things like, is it really worth spending the time and money doing a comprehensive training when most of the studios that I'm looking at, say in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, in Oman, in these other countries where I might want to go teach, that they're really only looking for mat and reformer. So do I need comprehensive cert? Look, what I'm going to say to you is at this particular point in time, if you're simply looking at just working, okay, just hourly wage working, then having a mat and reformer cert's probably fine. All right. You're going to find plenty of studios that'll hire you. You'll find plenty of places to work. You'll be okay. However, if the tides shift, as they often do, we see it in fashion, we see it in all kinds of things. If the tides shift, then what we're going to start to see is a return back to wanting more comprehensively certified teachers. There's also the rub that for a lot of the higher end resorts in the world, for the higher end spas in the world, and for fully equipped studios in the world, they are still looking for comprehensively trained teachers. And I'm going to talk for a second about kind of visa and work permit and things like that. So here's the deal. When you go to work in a different country, you need a work permit or you need a work visa. Similar to the way that, people who come into your country to work who aren't citizens and don't live there need a work visa or a green card or some kind of thing. The caveat with a work visa is that when you go in, you have to have more qualification for a job or position than someone who lives in the country. I'm going to say that again. When you go to another country to work and you are going there legally and getting a work visa, you need to prove that you have skills that people who live in that country and are citizens don't have. So this is where being comprehensively trained can come in really handy. Because if you're going into a country that has just a pool of mat only or reformer only or mat and reformer or only contemporary, and you're walking in, say somebody like me walks in and I have multiple certifications that are comprehensive and multiple specialty certifications and trainings, then I can show that I know more. So this, my friends, is something to really think about. Okay, if your plan is travel. Right now, in fact, if you're interested, I am hiring for a large Pilates studio in Bermuda that I've been hiring for years. And she only wants comprehensively certified teachers, either contemporary or classical, but also people with some specialty training and some cert people who are happy to work with rehab clients, who are happy to work with the back pain, neck pain, osteoporosis, who maybe can also teach yoga or do personal training or do massage, whatever that looks like. So, if that's something you might be interested in as you're listening to this, email me and send me your CV. This gets me into the next point. I have dealt with a lot of Pilates teachers in my search who, number one, don't read my ad where I'm asking for a comprehensive cert and they're sending me mat and reformer, which doesn't work. Number two, I am amazed at the number of teachers who do not have a resume or a CV. You need it. You need references. You need references ready. Okay? Like, have references ready. Seriously, talk to people who you used to work for, some of your clients, and have them ready to get an email or get a phone call or get the references from them. Just get them and have them on your computer and shoot them out when you need to. But the number of teachers where I say, I need your CV, and they say, oh, but I have a website or I'm on LinkedIn. Once again, when you do that work visa application, they need to see the CV. Okay, the government needs to see the CV. The labor board needs to see that you actually have the background that you're saying you have that makes you better than somebody who is a citizen of that country. Now, this is how you kind of rise in the Pilates ranks, and this is how you can navigate through what are some very interesting times in the Pilates world, is by giving yourself the best educational background and basis that you can, which is going to be generally a comprehensive training. I don't even care at this point if you go classical or contemporary, just get a comprehensive training. Learn all of the apparatus and, again, how the system works together. How do I feel about online only training? I'm going to tell you something. Don't love it. Don't love online only Pilates certifications. You need to be in a studio. You need to be observing. You need to be asking questions. You need to see clients in person working on bodies. You need to work on your friends, to teach as an apprentice, to be around the studio and the training. People who have come through online only trainings tend to kind of know Pilates and know the system, but not really know how to apply that knowledge to a body and work around other teachers in a studio. Because that's a thing. You need to be looking at space. You need to be looking at time. You need to be looking at, how loud you are. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in a studio at any given time. Also realize that for the employer, getting you into their country to work is not easy. Okay. Work visas are expensive. There is a long application process. Then they are typically either paying your flights in or flights out or both. They're paying, helping to pay insurance for you. They're helping to pay housing for you. They're helping you find things. They're helping, there's a lot that goes into a work visa. They're giving you paid annual leaves with flights. There's a lot that goes into this. And so this whole idea that you could just kind of show up in a place for 2 or 3 months or just hope for the best, that's not going to work. Most places are going to want you in for a minimum of 1 to 2 years on a work visa because it's going to cost a lot to get you there. Okay. So, this is where the comprehensive cert comes in. Also, if you've been listening to this podcast, if you go back and re-listen if you haven't yet, or listen for the first time if you haven't yet, to my series breaking down the entire mat in terms of the rest of the Pilates system, that will give you a good idea of how the system works as a whole. Okay. And how the different pieces of apparatus and the different springs and all of these things work together as a whole, to help our clients and to help us. I mean, that's really the thing. It's like all of these questions that I'll see online in different Pilates teacher groups where folks are like, I have a client who can't do this on the reformer. I only know reformer. How am I going to help them? And then we're all trying to, like, you know, throw out reformer exercises that might build on that. And all I want to do is say to them, like, you could take them off and take them to the Cadillac and do this, or take them to the chair and try that, or take them to the mat and do this, but they don't have it. They don't know that work. And so it really makes the whole process of teaching Pilates, moving forward, harder to not have that whole kind of basis and background. I also look at it as kind of respect to the source in a way. Like Pilates, Joseph Pilates spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of money putting this stuff together, putting this work together. It is brilliant. We all love it. Most of us started teaching because we were clients. You've also heard me rant about the fact that let Pilates be Pilates, okay? Pilates doesn't have to be HIIT. It doesn't have to be your soul strength training. It doesn't have to be those things. Pilates, my colleague and my old boss, Alicia Ungaro at Real Pilates, always says Pilates is cross training for life, right? What you learn in Pilates is going to teach you how to do things like you need to do in your life, so that when you have to get up and down off the floor, you have to pull that fitted sheet on that shrunk a little bit on your on your thick mattress or whatever that looks like. Your body is then, primed and ready to do it because you've done the Pilates. You're in the gym, you're doing your strength work, and you have a better idea of the mechanics of an exercise or a movement because you've been doing the Pilates, right? So that's where Pilates fits in. Yes, there's some strength. Yes, there's some flexibility. Yes, there's mobility. Yes, there's all the things. There's the core work, whatever. But really, at the end of the day, what we're looking at is a system of kind of primary basic strength, and mobility that allows us to then go out in the world and do what we need to do without worrying so much about injuries and stuff moving forward. So, if you're looking at Pilates training and you are concerned about cost or concerned about time, look at it like your college degree. I mean, seriously, if you want a good basis for moving forward, you need to do the work. And it's not going to take you 4 years. It's probably going to take you less than a year, and you're going to have it together, and you'll be able to then move forward. I mean, as a comprehensively trained teacher, you can still go to Riyadh and teach mat and Pilates or mat and reformer Pilates if you feel like it. But if you want to take a job at a full Pilates studio, you can. So I really feel like that's the best basis for any Pilates teacher moving forward. And again, that's what I need for my hiring. So that's it for me today, guys. As always, thank you so, so much for being here, for listening, for being in my world. And if you are interested in the Bermuda positions, do send me an email, Lynda@lindalippin.com. And note that next Saturday, August 10th, I am teaching a workshop on Pilates after spine surgery and joint replacements. This is a workshop that is going to be both live at Bombshell Pilates Chelsea here in New York City, and live streamed, and everybody who registers for either the live or the live stream will get a copy of the recording. So if you can't make it, you're not in New York, you're not available 3 to 6 on Saturday the 10th, then sign up for the live stream and you will get a copy, and you will still have the opportunity to ask me questions in advance and after. But if you are in New York City, you're a Pilates teacher from any background, even if you're not in New York City, any background, anybody, contemporary, however it looks for you, sign up for the live. Come see me in New York, and you'll still get a copy of the recording. It's just 3 hours, $180, quick and easy, and you will walk out being much more comfortable teaching any client who comes into your class, into your studio, and lets you know that they just had a hip replacement and a spine fusion. Because as we know this happens, I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Music brought to you by Nerd Salad. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, especially if you liked it. And please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks.